There is a certain thing about Diane that has always been the way she is. Period. Since I knew her at the age of 13. And that would be, she wants everything herself. Diana Ross rose to become Motown's biggest icon. But if the rumors are to be believed, finding out how she did it might make you not look at her the same way again. From having an affair with Smokey Robinson while he was married. You said the two of you actually were dating at one point? Yes. Okay. Did that last a long time, or was that just sort of brief? Well, it lasted probably longer than a year because I was married at the time. To also having an affair with Berryjem Gordyjem. There's so many things, you know. I can start with being a very, very good friend. A lover. A mentor. Some actually believe that Diana Ross slept her way to the top, which of course is a knock on her talents. Whether her rise was really more because of her intimacy with Motown brass, more than her talents as a singer, that's something we can't say for sure. But we do know that's what some people in the industry believe. Let's get into it. Smokey. Thank you very much. But what are you doing here? I thought you were in Burbank doing your show. No. Wait, baby. This is my mic. Back in the day, there were a lot of rumors about Smokey Robinson and Diana Ross. One of the wildest rumors said they were the real parents of Michael Jackson. Now, that sounds crazy, right? Most people laughed at the idea. I don't believe it either. But let me tell you where that rumor came from. Motown had a lot of secret relationships going on. They were young, wild, and living fast. This happened later. Yeah, later. Okay, after I got married. You know, after I got them signed up with Motown and all that. That's when that started. People were hooking up left and right. The idea of Smokey Robinson and Diana Ross having an affair should not surprise anyone. Motown was full of drama. Smokey was even trying to get with Berryjem Gordyjem's wife at one point. When Smokey was 12 years old, he met Diana Ross. She lived just 4 doors down from him. Diana Ross is my really good friend. Okay? We grew up 4 doors down the street from each other, and we've always been close. She was a little younger than him, and at that time, he did not know she could sing. To him, she was just another kid in the neighborhood. They would see each other all the time, but there was nothing special between them back then. It wasn't until years later that he found out about her singing talent. Diana and her family later moved to the Brewster Projects, a housing community in Detroit. When I found out she could sing was when she moved away from the block. She moved to a place called the Brewster Projects. One day after Smokey had already started working with Motown Records, Diana called him. She told him she had a singing group and wanted him to listen to them. She hoped he would help them get signed to Motown. This was the first time Smokey realized she was serious about music. He had no idea before that she even wanted to be a singer. And after we started Motown, she called me one day and she said, "Smoke, I got this group, you know, and I want you to hear us so you can sign us up at Motown." Yes, Smokey was married at the time. His wife, Claudette Robinson, was also a singer in the Miracles. They had a deep love, and they built a life together. But things were not always perfect. While he was working at Motown and helping artists like Diana, something unexpected happened. Smokey and Diana started having an affair. It was not planned. They did not go after each other. It just happened. They spent a lot of time together, and feelings grew between them. The affair lasted for about a year. Smokey loved Diana, but he also loved his wife. He was caught between 2 women. Well, it lasted probably longer than a year because I was married at the time. Diana was young and she was trying to make a name for herself in the music world. Smokey was helping her and they became very close. He admired her talent and her ambition. She was a beautiful woman and he could not resist her. But Diana started to feel guilty. She knew Claudette and she knew that Smokey still loved his wife. One day, she told Smokey that she could not continue the affair. She did not want to hurt Claudette. Smokey understood. He respected Diana's feelings and their romantic relationship ended. Even though the affair ended, their friendship did not. Smokey and Diana remained close over the years. They had a special bond that never faded. Smokey always spoke highly of Diana. He said she was one of the closest people in his life. He never stopped caring about her. Many people believed that Diana loved him, but she also knew that their relationship could not last forever. Her career was growing and she had big dreams of becoming a solo star. Being with Smokey, a married man, could bring problems. She decided to end their relationship thinking it was the best choice for her future. Smokey was heartbroken when Diana left him. He truly cared about her, and it was not easy for him to let go. He later said that he understood why she made that decision, but it still hurt him deeply. Their close bond was never the same again. Some people believed there was tension between them after the breakup. Diana moved on, focusing on her career and getting involved in other relationships, while Smokey was left with his feelings. Many fans and people in the music industry talked about Diana's choices. Some saw her as a strong, independent woman who made smart decisions. Others thought she was cold and used people to reach her goals. No one can say for sure what her true intentions were. Some people say she liked the idea of making other women jealous. She wanted people to know that she could have any man she wanted. For example, Diana Ross had a thing with Eddie Kendricks from The Temptations before he got married. But even after he got married, some say she still messed around with him. That might have been her way of showing his wife, "You think you got him? But he's still coming back to me." Diana Ross gets a lot of backlash for these stories, but that's because she was the most famous female singer to come out of Motown. The truth is, she wasn't the only one doing these things. It wasn't just the women either. The men were just as bad. Berryjem Gordy was messing around with Diana Ross, even though he was married to Renoma. Some people in the Motown music world believed that Diana Ross used her relationships to get ahead. They thought she was close to powerful men to help her career. One of these men was Berryjem Gordy, the founder of Motown. Diana had close ties with him, and this made some people suspicious. They wondered if she was truly in love, or just trying to move up in the music industry. There's only one Berryjem Gordy, a man with a vision that really took so many young talent out of Detroit and showed them the world. Diana Ross and Berryjem Gordy had a very complicated relationship. Some people believed they were just business partners, while others thought they had a romantic connection. Gordy always denied that they were ever in a serious relationship, but many people believed otherwise. When Diana Ross was 16 years old, she walked into Motown for the first time. And after we started Motown, she called me one day and she said, "Hey, Smoke, I got this group, and I want you to hear us so you can sign us up at Motown." She wanted to be a singer, and Berryjem Gordy was the man who could make it happen. Gordy was the head of Motown, and he had the power to turn singers into stars. From the beginning, their relationship was complicated. Some people said he helped her because he believed in her talent. Others believed there was something more between them. There were artists at Motown that had a better voice, a stronger voice. There were artists at Motown who could dance better. There were artists at Motown who possibly were more attractive. At first, Diana saw Berryjem Gordy as her mentor. He gave her advice, helped her improve, and made sure she had the best songs. But over time, things changed. Diana was young, ambitious, and determined to be a star. She wanted more than just a career. She wanted Berryjem Gordy, too. There was just one problem. Gordy was married. Diana did not give up easily. She watched as Gordy's marriage fell apart. He had other relationships, but nothing lasted. She waited for the right moment. And in 1965, they finally became a couple. But their relationship was not easy. Some people believed Gordy took advantage of Diana because she was young. Others said Diana knew exactly what she was doing. She was smart, and she used her charm to get ahead. Diana had always been determined to be the best. Even before she became famous, she did whatever it took to succeed. When the Supremes were just starting, they had to perform before big-name acts. Diana paid attention to every move those artists made. Then, at the next show, she and the Supremes copied the same moves. This made them look just as good as the bigger stars. Diana always found a way to stand out. Diana Ross she's classy. By 1965, the Supremes were famous all over the world. They had hit songs, and Diana was the face of the group. But her relationship with Berryjem Gordy created problems. Gordy decided that Diana should be the lead singer, even though the group had started as a team. Then, he changed their name to Diana Ross and the Supremes. This caused a lot of tension. Mary Wilson and Florence Ballard, the other two members, felt left out. They believed Gordy and Diana were working together to push them aside. Even though Gordy had divorced his wife in 1964, he and Diana kept their romance a secret. Diana wanted more. She had been with him for 5 years, and she wanted to get married. But Berryjem Gordy was not interested in marriage. He had many relationships in the past, and he did not want to settle down. He once joked that he could not marry Diana because she was just as selfish as he was. Diana was not the type to wait forever. If Gordy would not marry her, she would find someone who would, one day, While shopping for a gift for Barry, she met Robert Ellis Silberstein. He was an artist manager, and they got along well. Before long, he asked her to marry him. Diana said yes. On her wedding day, Diana looked happy, but she was keeping a secret. She was already pregnant, and the baby was not Silberstein's. The father was Berryjem Gordy. However, Silberstein loved Diana, and he agreed to raise the child as his own. A few months after the wedding, Diana gave birth to her first daughter, Rhonda Ross Kendrick. Diana and Silberstein had 2 more daughters, Tracy Joy and Chudney Lane. To the public, they seemed like a happy family. But behind closed doors, things were not perfect. Diana had moved on from Gordy, but their connection never really went away. Even after Diana married someone else, people still believed that Berryjem Gordy played a big role in her career. Some said she only became a star because of him. Others said she was talented and would have been famous no matter what. The truth is, their relationship helped her in many ways. But Diana also worked very hard. Diana Ross became the biggest star of the Supremes, but this caused problems. At first, the Supremes were a group of 3 talented women: Diana Ross, Florence Ballard, and Mary Wilson. They all sang together and shared the spotlight. When we all arrived back to this building in Detroit, all of our records had charted. All of us were famous. All of us were old town artists. But things changed when Berryjem Gordy, the founder of Motowna, started paying special attention to Diana. He made her the lead singer, and over time, the group became more about Diana than the others. Eventually, he even changed their name to Diana Ross and the Supremes. This made Florence Ballard feel left out. I get the impression that Diana Ross kind of got lucky, in the sense that there were people around her. As we know, Berryjem Gordy, head of Motowna, who identified her as the one. She had been an important part of the group, but now she was pushed aside. Mary Wilson tried to keep peace between them, but it was clear that Diana was taking over. Florence was deeply hurt. She had helped start the Supremes, but now she felt like she didn't matter anymore. As Diana's fame grew, Florence's role got smaller. She tried to speak up, but nobody listened. Berryjem Gordy only cared about making Diana a star. He believed she had the most potential to be famous, so he focused all his energy on her. This left Florence feeling betrayed and unwanted. She became depressed and started drinking to deal with her sadness. Sometimes, she missed performances or had trouble singing, instead of helping her. Motowna saw her as a problem. They decided to remove her from the group. By 1967, Florence was gone, and Diana was the clear star. Motowna replaced Florence with another singer. But things were never the same. Florence had lost everything. She had no career, no money, and no support from the music industry. She tried to fight back by suing Motowna, asking for $8.7 million. She claimed that Diana and Berryjem Gordy had planned to get rid of her. But she lost the lawsuit, and things got worse. She struggled to support herself and her children. Without help, she fell deeper into hard times. Diana Ross, meanwhile, continued to rise. She became one of the biggest stars in the world, enjoying success as a solo artist. She had movies, hit songs, and fame. But many people blamed her for what happened to Florence. They saw her as someone who stepped over others to get to the top. Music fans, former Motowna artists, and even some of the Supreme supporters believed Diana had betrayed her friend. Florence's life ended tragically. She died at just 32 years old, broken and forgotten by the music industry. When she passed away, more than 5,000 people came to her funeral. It was clear that people still loved her, even if the music business had turned its back on her. But what happened at the funeral made people even angrier at Diana Ross. Diana showed up in a limousine, making a grand entrance. Many of the people at the funeral didn't like this. They saw it as her trying to steal the attention, even in Florence's final moment. Some mourners booed her, showing their anger. Diana's own mother was there, looking upset at how the crowd reacted, but Diana didn't seem bothered. She sat in the front row with Florence's family, holding a young girl on her lap. A photographer took a picture of her, and this became one of the most famous images from the funeral. But the biggest shock came when Diana made a dramatic scene. She entered the church and let out a loud cry. She acted like she was so overcome with emotion that she almost fainted. Her bodyguards had to carry her to the front row. People watching were stunned. Some believed she was truly sad, but others thought it was an act. One writer who attended the funeral later said that Diana's behavior seemed fake. He felt she was trying to make the moment about herself instead of Florence. He even said she won't even allow Florence to be the star of her own funeral. The rivalry between Diana Ross and Florence Ballard was one of the saddest stories in Motown history. Some believe Diana was just doing what she had to do to succeed. Others think she was ruthless and didn't care about the people she hurt along the way. Diana and I should have been there together. Said, I'm ready to do this. You ready to do it? Let's do it. Why didn't it happen that way? She did not want to talk first. She wanted to do the business first. Some people saw her as a diva. Mary Wilson, another member of the Supremes, said Diana sometimes acted like she was more important than the rest of the group. She would do things to stand out, like wearing different outfits from the other members and refusing to share clothes. Wilson also believed Diana used her close relationship with Berryjem Gordyjem, the head of Motown, to get special treatment. I get the impression that Diana Ross kind of got lucky in the sense that, there are people around her. As we know, Berryjem Gordyjem, head of Motown, who identified her as the one, the Supremes became one of the biggest music groups of the 1960 SE. Forever came the day when you walked into my life. Their songs topped the charts and they were loved by many fans. But behind the scenes, things were not always smooth. Wilson wrote a book about her time in the group and shared stories about Diana's behavior. She said Diana acted spoiled and did not like being criticized. If someone said something she did not like, she would take it as an insult. Wilson also said that as the group became more famous, Diana wanted more attention. She started dating Berryjem Gordyjem, and when she was unhappy about something, she would tell him. Wilson believed Diana used this connection to get what she wanted. As earlier mentioned, she also claimed that Diana played small tricks to make herself stand out. For example, if she knew what the other members were going to wear, she would wear something different. During performances, she would stretch out her arms to block the other members from being seen. Diana also wanted to be the lead in everything. She did not want to be seen as just another member of the Supremes. She wanted to be the star. There is a certain thing about Diana that has always been the way she is, period, since I knew her at the age of 13. And that would be she wants everything herself. Wilson believed Diana's relationship with Gordy made things worse. She felt that Diana had more power because of him and was not afraid to use it. Over time, the group's name changed from the Supremes to Diana Ross and the Supremes. This made it clear that Diana was the main star. In 1970, Diana Ross left the Supremes to start her solo career. Wilson was heartbroken. She stayed in the group with other singers, but it was not the same. The Supremes continued for a few more years, but in 1977, they officially disbanded. Diana Ross wanted Cindy Birdsong to replace Florence Ballard, so Cindy left us just standing one night, waiting for her to come out and play, and this thing was in Detroit with the Supremes. I said, that's cute. And then we have the rivalry between Patti LaBelle and Diana Ross. Did y'all really have beef with the Supremes? Yeah. Damn, I didn't expect it to be like that. It wasn't the Supremes. It was Diana and myself. Their issues started when they were in singing groups before they became solo artists. Patti felt that Diana and the Supremes copied her group's style. She believed they took ideas from her and made them their own. This made her very upset. Patti said that when her group, Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells, performed at the Apollo Theater, they did not make much money. They bought their outfits from cheap stores like Walmart and Walgreens. Since they could not afford expensive clothes, they had to make their outfits last. But one day, after Patti's group wore gold outfits, she saw the Supremes wearing the same gold outfits the next day. This made her angry. She felt they were copying her. She said, "We don't have money. It's the only outfit we have." But the Supremes still wore the same thing. Patti did not like Diana Ross after that. She thought the Supremes were watching what she and her group did, then taking their style. She felt they wanted to act like they were the first ones to do it. This made Patti feel disrespected. She believed they were stealing ideas from her group to make themselves look better. Things got even worse when Cindy Birdsong, a member of Patti's group, left to join the Supremes. Patti said she did not even know about it until right before a big show. Her group had 4 members, Sarah Dash, Nona Hendrix, Cindy Birdsong, and Patti herself. They were in Cleveland, about to go on stage. But then, Patti realized something was wrong. Instead of 4 people, there were only 3. Cindy was gone. So, Cindy left us just standing one night, waiting for her to come out and play, and this thing was in Detroit, with the Supremes. Patti later found out that Cindy had secretly been rehearsing with the Supremes for months. That night, she officially left Patty's group to take Florence Ballard's place in the Supremes. Patty felt betrayed. Cindy did not tell them what she was planning. She just left. Patty called it a jumping ship. She said Cindy turned her back on them when they needed her the most. This made Patty's feelings toward Diana Ross even worse. First, she felt that the Supremes copied her group's clothes. Now, she believed they took one of her group members. It made her feel like Diana Ross and the Supremes did not respect her or her group. Patty held on to this anger for many years. She felt she worked hard to make her group special, but the Supremes kept taking things from them. She believed they wanted to be the best and did not care who they hurt along the way. Even though both singers became big stars, their issues did not go away. People often talked about their rivalry, and Patty was not afraid to share her feelings. She believed the Supremes tried to act like they were better than her group. But Patty always reminded people that she and her group were trendsetters, and she did not like how Diana Ross and the Supremes treated them. When it comes to her personal life, Diana also had drinking problems. She was sentenced to 48 hours in jail and 1 year of probation. This happened after she was arrested for drunk driving. She did not have to meet with a probation officer, but she had to follow the rules. Ross did not go to court in person. Instead, she talked to the judge on the phone from her home in Connecticut. The judge listened to her and accepted her guilty plea. Ross was arrested because police saw her car in the wrong lane. She was not driving safely. At first, Ross planned to go to trial, but later, her lawyers decided to change their plan. They spoke to the court and asked for a deal. The judge agreed, and Ross admitted she was guilty over the phone. Some of the charges against Ross were dropped. She only had to serve 2 days in jail and pay a fine of $852. She also had to go to alcohol counseling for 36 hours. She did not have to go back to Tucson for jail time. Instead, she could do her time in Los Angeles.